Did you know you could be killing yourself without even knowing it? Most of us think of aging as something out of our control, something written into our DNA and sealed away by time. But the truth is, how we age and how long we live depends more on our daily habits than we care to admit. In fact, many folks are unknowingly shaving off precious years through choices that seem small and harmless in the moment. They're not just bad habits. They're silent thieves, slowly robbing us of vitality, clarity, and time. And here's the thing, most of them don't show up in dramatic ways. There's no warning siren, no pain, no headline moment. But over the years, they quietly pile up until the damage is hard to reverse. In this video, we're going to take a close look at 5 habits that can dramatically shorten your lifespan. And we're saving the most surprising one for last. You may recognize some of these in yourself, or someone you love, and if you do, don't feel discouraged. The point of this video is not to scare you, but to shine a gentle light on patterns we often ignore and offer simple, realistic steps to turn things around. So if you're someone who wants to protect your mind, your body, and your time on this earth, or if you just want to feel better as you age, then stay with us. This might be the most valuable 10 minutes you spend today. Now let's get started. Number 1, chronic sleep deprivation. There's something almost noble about staying busy, pushing through fatigue, and getting things done, no matter how tired you feel. But here's what many people don't realize. Regularly cutting your sleep short is like running your body on borrowed time and with heavy interest. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. It's when your brain takes out the trash, your heart slows down to recover, and your cells do their nightly maintenance. Skimping on sleep, even by just an hour or 2 a night, chips away at your mental clarity, your immune system, and your heart health. Over time, this can raise your risk of stroke, memory loss, diabetes, and even early death. The problem is sleep deprivation rarely feels urgent. You might feel a little foggy, a little more irritable, but you can still function. That's what makes it so dangerous. It gives you the illusion of normalcy while your body quietly falls apart underneath. You see, sleep is when your brain consolidates memories and clears out the waste that builds up during the day. Without enough of it, those toxins accumulate, affecting not just your mind, but also your mood and decision-making. You start snapping at loved ones, forgetting appointments, or struggling with focus. The days blur together. You become reactive instead of thoughtful. Now let's talk about David, a 72-year-old retired school principal, who used to brag about getting by on 5 hours of sleep. He thought it gave him more time to enjoy his hobbies, stay active, and keep up with friends. But by the time he hit his mid-70s, he noticed a steady decline in his balance, memory, and mood. After a visit to his doctor, he was shocked to learn how his chronic sleep deprivation was accelerating the aging process. Once he made sleep a priority, setting a wind-down routine, avoiding screens before bed, and sticking to a schedule, he felt sharper and calmer within weeks. His relationships improved. He felt 10 years younger, and he realized that real freedom comes not from doing more, but from honoring what your body truly needs. If you've been treating sleep like an optional luxury, it's time to reconsider. Rest isn't a break from life, it's the foundation of it. Number 2, constant low-grade stress. Some folks believe that if they're not having panic attacks or breaking down in tears, they're handling stress just fine. But stress isn't always loud. In fact, the most dangerous kind is often the quietest. The kind that hums just beneath the surface, day after day, wearing you down without you even noticing. It's the small things, worrying about finances, feeling unappreciated, holding on to resentment, or pushing through exhaustion with a forced smile. This slow burn of emotional tension doesn't just affect your mood. It floods your system with cortisol, inflames your blood vessels, raises your blood pressure, and weakens your immune response. That's how stress becomes a silent contributor to heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and even certain cancers. You might not feel it building, but your body does. When your shoulders stay tight, your stomach stays knotted, and your breath never really deepens, that's your body stuck in survival mode. Over time, your systems become less efficient. Your digestion suffers, your sleep becomes restless, and your brain stays wired when it should be calm. You start to snap at people you love. You forget where you put your keys. You feel tired but restless, present but not truly there. It's like walking through life with a heavy coat you forgot you were wearing. And it doesn't go away with a weekend off. It sticks around because the source isn't always obvious. And often it's emotional weight you've been carrying for years. Let me tell you about Linda, a 68-year-old widow who kept herself busy after her husband passed away. She volunteered, helped with her grandkids, attended church, and always wore a smile. But beneath it all, she carried a quiet grief, unspoken worries about her health, and a nagging feeling that she never had time to breathe. It wasn't until a routine checkup showed early signs of heart trouble that her doctor suggested a closer look at her stress levels. Linda began practicing 10 minutes of daily meditation, journaling in the evenings, and saying no to tasks she didn't truly want to do. To her surprise, her energy improved. Her relationships felt more honest, and her health stabilized. The weight didn't disappear overnight, but she stopped carrying it alone. Managing stress isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about creating space to feel, to process, and to rest. Sometimes that means asking for help. Sometimes it means forgiving someone who never apologized. And often it just means sitting still and breathing deeply. These small shifts don't just help you feel better, they help you live longer. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, eating ultra-processed foods. Most people think of food as fuel, and that's true, but not all fuel is created equal. When your diet is made up mostly of ultra-processed foods, things like frozen dinners, packaged snacks, sugary cereals, and fast food, you're feeding your body chemicals, preservatives, and empty calories instead of the nutrients it needs to heal and thrive. These foods are often stripped of fiber, packed with additives, and engineered to be addictive. They don't just contribute to weight gain. They trigger inflammation, destabilize your blood sugar, and weaken your gut, which is deeply connected to your immune system, mood, and even your brain function. The tricky part is that these foods are convenient, cheap, and often taste good. When you're tired or rushed or just not in the mood to cook, grabbing a bag of chips or microwaving something out of a box feels harmless. But over time, the damage builds. Inflammation becomes chronic. Your energy dips, your skin changes, your memory feels a little duller, and you might chalk it up to age, but in reality, your cells are struggling to do their jobs because they're not getting the tools they need. You wouldn't expect a garden to thrive on soda and bleach, so why ask your body to? There's also the emotional side. Many people, especially older adults, turn to comfort foods when they feel lonely or nostalgic. A slice of pie reminds them of Sunday afternoons. A drive-through milkshake feels like a treat from better days. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying food as an experience, problems begin when these foods become a daily habit instead of an occasional indulgence. It's easy to slip into routines, where the microwave becomes your main chef and colorful packaging replaces actual vegetables. The more often that happens, the more your body begins to struggle. Let me share the story of Carl, a 75-year-old former mechanic, who lived alone after his wife passed away. For years, he ate out of cans and boxes, not out of laziness, but because it felt easier and familiar. He didn't notice the changes at first. Just a little more joint pain, a little more fatigue, a few extra pounds. But when his blood pressure climbed and his doctor warned him about prediabetes, Carl knew he needed to change. He started simple, replacing his sugary cereal with oatmeal and fruit, swapping soda for water, and cooking one meal a day using real ingredients. Within a few months, he not only lost weight, but also noticed clearer thinking and steadier moods. The kitchen became a place of healing, not just eating. We often think that eating well means giving up joy, but it's the opposite. When your body feels nourished, life becomes lighter. The aches lessen, the fog lifts. You have more to give to others and more to enjoy for yourself. It's never too late to trade convenience for vitality. A few small changes can restore decades of health that processed food quietly took away. Number 4, social isolation. There's a kind of silence that's louder than noise. The kind that fills a house when no one's called in days, when dinner's eaten alone, and when laughter becomes a memory instead of a sound. Social isolation doesn't just affect your mood. It slowly starves your body and mind of the connection that humans are built for. Studies have shown that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. It raises your risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and early death. But the problem is it doesn't always look like loneliness. Sometimes it looks like independence. Sometimes it looks like keeping to yourself so you're not a burden. There's a difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude can be peaceful and nourishing, especially when chosen. But isolation creeps in when connections fade and routines become rigid. Maybe your children moved away. Maybe your spouse passed on. Maybe health issues make it harder to get out? The reasons are understandable, but the impact is the same. Your brain needs stimulation. Your heart needs laughter. Your body thrives on affection, even if it's just a hand on your shoulder or someone remembering your name. Let's talk about Eleanor, an 80-year-old who lived in the same house for over 50 years. After her husband died and her friends grew fewer, she spent most days in front of the TV. She told herself she was fine, that she liked the quiet, but deep down, she missed conversation. She missed being needed. Her doctor noticed changes, slower speech, more confusion, and signs of depression. At her daughter's urging, Eleanor started attending a local senior center once a week. At first, she resisted. She didn't want to be seen as someone who needed help. But once she started going, everything changed. She made new friends. She laughed again. Her energy returned. She felt like herself. Here's the truth: relationships are medicine. Community is as vital as vitamins. And being seen, heard, and loved adds years not just to your life, but to your spirit. You don't need dozens of friends or constant company. Just one person who knows your story and cares about your day can make a world of difference. If you've pulled away from people, whether because of pride, habit, or fear, it's never too late to reach out. Call someone, write a letter, invite a neighbor for coffee, open the door to connection. Because the heart, just like the body, needs regular care, and it heals faster in the presence of others. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, always holding it in emotions or urine. This one might surprise you, not just because it's rarely talked about, but because it affects more people than you might think. Many folks, especially as they age, get into the habit of holding things in. And I don't just mean their emotions. I mean literally holding in their urine, often because they don't want to be a bother, or they think they can wait a little longer, or maybe public restrooms make them uncomfortable. Over time, though, this habit quietly puts serious strain on the bladder and kidneys, increases the risk of urinary tract infections, and can even contribute to long-term damage in the pelvic floor muscles. What seems like a minor inconvenience adds up, especially when combined with age-related changes in urinary health. But the emotional side of this habit might be even more damaging. Holding in your feelings, whether it's grief, frustration, sadness, or even joy, can create a kind of inner tension that doesn't go away on its own. Just like pressure builds in a balloon, emotions that aren't expressed find other ways to surface, maybe through chronic pain, digestive issues, anxiety, or sleep problems. The human body is wise and it always looks for release. If you don't give it space to speak, it will whisper through symptoms, and eventually those whispers get louder. Let me tell you about Walter, a 76-year-old man who prided himself on never complaining. He grew up believing that real strength meant staying silent, not burdening others, and toughing things out. For years, he pushed through back pain, ignored signs of depression after retirement, and even avoided bathroom breaks during long outings because he didn't want to appear weak. Eventually, the combination of physical strain and emotional suppression led to a hospitalization for a severe urinary tract infection and symptoms of clinical depression. It wasn't until his recovery that Walter began to understand there's no bravery in pretending you're fine when you're not. True strength lies in listening to your body and respecting your limits. There's an old saying, what you resist persists. And that's especially true when it comes to your health. Ignoring signals, whether it's a full bladder or a full heart, doesn't make you tougher. It makes you more vulnerable. Learning to excuse yourself for a bathroom break, or to tell someone how you really feel, or to cry when you need to, that's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's the kind of self-respect that adds years to your life and life to your years. So take this as a gentle invitation. Next time your body or heart says, I need a break, listen. Step away. Speak up. Let go. What you release today could be the very thing that heals you tomorrow. Final thoughts. The habits we've talked about today aren't always loud or obvious. They don't make headlines. They don't show up with flashing red lights, but they matter. They shape the way we age, the way we feel, and ultimately how much time we get to spend with the people we love and doing the things that matter most. The good news is this: it's never too late to change. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to notice the patterns that are quietly stealing from your future. and choose one moment at a time to do something different. Maybe that means going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it means calling someone you've been missing. Maybe it's swapping a frozen dinner for something fresh, or letting yourself cry for the first time in a while. Small things done regularly make a bigger difference than grand gestures done once. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about choosing care. Care for your body, care for your mind, care for your time. You've made it this far in the video, which tells me something important. You care about your life. You care about your health. You're not someone who's just letting the years pass. You're someone who wants to be here fully. Someone who still has things to give and memories to make. That's not something everyone can say. And that, my friend, is something to be proud of. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.